Well, talking value for your money whiskey these days is nearly impossible. I think I've got one for you guys today and maybe the next best value in whiskey. Let's talk about that today on the My Bourbon Journey Whiskey Review channel. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Like I said, I think I found maybe the next best value in whiskey today. Now again, value is subjective, so I'm trying to look at it from the standpoint of both using in a cocktail and the quality factor for a sipping whiskey. So that's kind of how I try to look at or make the determination of value. And again, the monetary side of it is 100% subjective and up to you in terms of what you feel is a value for your money. The whiskey we're going to talk about today, in my opinion, meets and fits a lot of those criterias. So a few of the specs on this one, again, we're dealing with, from Green River, a 95.5, 95% rye, 5% malted barley. Pricing on this is going to be right around that $30, $35 price point. Should be readily available in the vast majority of areas very soon, if it's not already here in the early part of 2024. It's not age stated, but the blends are said to be between 4 and 6 years old. So pretty nice ages for a rye whiskey. If I failed to mention, the whiskey we're going to be talking about today is from Green River, their newest Green River rye whiskey. So let's go ahead and dive into this. We'll get into the nose and see what this bad boy is going to give us. Boy, so right away, my first impression is this really nice kind of sweet tea or like a sweet green tea. Slight herbal characteristics on this one. Really nice mint note. Really nice spice, good spicy backbone so far. Some maybe honey nut Cheerios. Again, that lingering spice. The spice is beautiful. Sometimes even on some 95.5s, the spice will be a little bit muted, but this is really kind of jumping out of the glass really nicely. Almost a bit of like a Jolly Rancher type of sweetness, along with a little bit of tartness that's there. Really nice little hint of oak there. Again, I keep coming back to this like sweet tea. There's something that's got that slight confectionery, mint, a little bit of that herbal characteristic. Really comes across as a more developed rye whiskey. A little more maybe kind of green apple. There was maybe some of, I mentioned Jolly Rancher, maybe some of that tartness is coming from that kind of like green apple, or maybe the skin on a green apple. Yeah, and I think the rye grain in this is really starting to show up in that spice factor. So I love that beautiful 95.5 when you get the combination of the sweetness, a little bit of that mint, great spice, love all of that nice oak. A little bit more of that orange zest starting to come out in this one a little bit. More importantly, let's dive into this and see what this one's going to taste like. Cheers. So immediately I have to say, I love it. You get set up right away with this kind of creamy or velvety mouthfeel. Not overly viscous, but again, those really, really nice spices are kind of coming out. A little more orange peel on the palate than I was getting immediately on the nose. It almost feels like this spicy honey. There's something that is creamy, got those honey nut Cheerios notes to it with a little bit of that spice that's there. I'm sure with that 95.5 and that spice coming through, that's really starting to kind of ramp up a little bit on this one. Maybe a light or medium oak that's there. A little bit more of that mint for a 95 proof whiskey. It does have a pretty good backbone to it. Yeah, I'll even say a little bit more of, again, that kind of Jolly Rancher where you've got both the sweetness and maybe some of the green apple, that tartness, a little bit of caramel notes that are there. Nice lingering oak, nice lingering spice. Not heavy oak by any means. Nice lingering spice. That's something that's really nice. The proof is probably about spot on for what you would think of like a 95 proof whiskey drinking like. This feels like it's right in that kind of wheelhouse. So when I was mentioning value for your money earlier on, how I try to again look at that is from the standpoint of both a sipping whiskey and something that you would use or potentially use in a cocktail. And again, I think with this one at that $30 or $35 price point, it's a great little sipping whiskey. Like if it's just one of those ryes that you want to sit down on an evening, not have to overly think anything. This is a great flavor, great profile on this one that just offers exactly what you would kind of expect or hope for in a 95 proof rye whiskey. And this is giving you all of that. What I will say is it feels like it's a little bit more ramped up in terms of the overall flavor profile. It's giving you a significant amount more flavor than I think some other brands will, where some will maybe fall off or fall a little bit flatter. This continues to feel a little bit more like a developed rye, where there's just more kind of backbone to it, more substance. Again, that really nice kind of rich, creamy mouthfeel is nice. But if you wanted to use this at this price point for cocktails, again, I think with the oak, the spice, the nice sweetness that's there, that orange kind of apple, caramel, it would make for probably a really nice, Manhattan, something along those lines. Overall, I think this is a great everyday type of rye whiskey. Again, for whatever it is you want to use it for, I think the cost of it allows for you to be flexible in terms of what you want to do with it. So I would have no problem recommending or suggesting someone maybe give this a try. If you haven't had anything from Green River, absolutely love what it is they're doing. Now, over the course of the last year, maybe 2 years max, they've introduced both their wheated bourbon and their rye-based bourbon. Now here in the early part of 2024, they've just released their 95 proof rye whiskey. And I think this is gonna go over extremely well with the vast majority of people. So hopefully that helps. If you were a little bit on the fence or just kind of unaware of either Green River releasing a rye whiskey, well, here we are in February 2024. They've released this whiskey, and I think it's gonna be a big hit with an awful lot of people for several different reasons. So there you go. Again, from Green River Distilling Company out of Owensboro, Kentucky, their newest release, their 95.5 rye whiskey. I want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Greatly appreciate you tuning in. Do me a favor, on your way out, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, trying to build the channel as much as we can here in 2024. So I appreciate all of your support. With that being said, if you'd like to follow me, you can on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those places at My Bourbon Journey. If you'd like to help support the channel and become part of the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club, make sure you check out that Patreon link in the description below. And as always, it's about the journey and not the destination. Cheers.